One day, his short legs walked over the path to our front door. After all the recent hardships, he was not sure what to expect, but he knew he needed help. He looked at my mother with questioning brown eyes. He was hungry. When I came home from school, a short-haired dachshund lay with a full stomach on a blanket in the back door hallway. I sat down on the blanket next to him and stroked his head. "Hi, who are you, and where did you come from?" When he stood up to nuzzle my cheek, I noticed his protruding ribs. On his flank he had a laceration, from his spine to his belly. "What happened to you?" I asked. "Were you hit by a car or sliced by a barbed wire?" He could not answer me, of course, but he licked my hand and looked at me with a tilted head. He told me clearly, "I like it here. Please let me stay." The veterinarian Hakkesteeg had been on the farm that afternoon to look at a sick calf. He had given the dog a quick exam and determined he had no broken bones or abdominal injuries. The wound edges had separated a few inches, but the wound was clean and healing, with pink granulation tissue in the beefy red wound bed. The hungry dog would get an ugly scar, but was healthy. We all wondered what happened. Was he pushed out of a car far from home by an owner unwilling to take care of an injured pet? Or was he injured while trying to survive in a strange world? Alone. He had no collar with a name tag, but everyone agreed that his name was Vicky. Vicky responded to his new name as if he were never called anything else. He did not seem to mind when after a day he lost his special place in the back door hallway. There were plenty of comfortable places on the farm. Whenever I stepped on my bike to go to school, Vicky was next to me, charged up for a 2-kilometer run to the small elementary school on the far north side of the village. He ran next to me, staying close to my pedals with his ears flapping joyfully behind him. He followed me until I placed my bike in the school bike rack. As always, the boys kicked a soccer ball around a grassy field and the girls practiced forward and backward flips on the bars. Vicky was unable to decide with whom he wanted to play more and ran back and forth between the boy and the girl teams. After Meester de Vries blew his whistle, he followed me and the other children to the entrance. "No, Vicky, you cannot come inside with us." He sat down and he looked at me disappointed. "Why not?" his brown eyes asked me. He never waited for school to be out to run back to the farm with me. He roamed around the village until everybody knew him. "Your dog was in our church during Mass last Sunday," my friend Yolanda chuckled. My parents did not chuckle with her. They did not appreciate that Vicky, now a village figure and a churchgoer, was known as our dog. Neither one of my parents grew up with a dog and neither one had any desire to have a dog. Then, one unfortunate day, Vicky chased all the neighbors' sheep to the point of exhaustion. Simple compassion for an injured, hungry dog had now turned into a liability. Since no one had claimed a missing dachshund, a decision was made quickly. I heard an incessant bark when I rode my bike over the concrete bridge to the farm. Vicky was locked up in one of the wooden sheds. He did not stop barking until I was inside and sat down on a bale of straw. He immediately sat next to me and lowered his head. I stroked his head as I did the day we met. "I'm sorry." Vicky came closer, as if he wanted to hide against my chest underneath my arm. Was he crying? Joyful Vicky had changed into a fearful dog, with separation anxiety and memories of abandonment. "Sorry, Vicky," I said again. I couldn't stay. His tail had a few happy wags, when I opened the door. He wanted to leave the shed with me. I crouched down and gently pushed his head back inside. "No, Vicky, you have to stay here." His barks followed me every painful step over the narrow path to the back door of our house. "What will happen to Vicky?" I asked Mother, who was in the kitchen preparing the evening meal. "Hakkesteeg comes at 5 o'clock. "For what?" I asked, afraid for the answer. "A shot," Mother said. After that, we both fell silent. Not every kitten of a newly found cat litter can stay. Not every birth ends with a healthy newborn shaking its head on the straw. A delivery is arranged for the abattoir for a calf with a broken leg, and a veterinarian is called for a deadly injection for a stray who likes to chase sheep. That's all part of farm living, I guess. More than half a century later, I can still hear him begging me to go back to the shed. Vicky was a fun-loving, friendly dog, with a hairless flank, wanted by nobody. He never asked for much. He just wanted to be loved.